Before we start the show, a human message. I think you'll get the idea. Thanks to Art Helper for supporting this show and keeping us here. And I say that as a human, which apparently now needs saying even more. Art Helper, you see, is a professional networking community for human artists with a real-time feed of work and discussion and news and a global directory of human-made art. Made by humans for humans, featuring humans. I think you get the idea. It's free to join at arthelper.com/sign-up. arthelper.com/sign-up.
गंगा स्नानम तिलकम जंगलों महादेवाय नमः शिवाय। जय गंगा मैया सद्बुद्धि ज्ञान देते रहे, माता पूर्णा जी आपका दरबार भरे रहे, महादेवाय नमः शिवाय 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 शिवाय।
जानो ना 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 जानो ना।
India is not a country that eases you in gently. It doesn't really do gentle. It's a place of 1.5 billion people, give or take, the most populous nation on earth, having overtaken China in 2023, and it carries that scale in everything. The noise, the colour, the traffic, the sheer press of human life happening all around you at once. Britain's relationship with India, and I do want to mention this at the start, is long, complicated, and let's be honest, not particularly flattering in the chapters we wrote. 200 years of colonial rule, extraction on an industrial scale, and a partition in the 40s that was drawn up in a matter of weeks and left a wound that hasn't fully healed. India has processed that history in its own way, without much sentimentality about it. And the country you arrive in today is very much its own thing. One of the world's largest democracies, a space program, a film industry that dwarfs Hollywood, and somewhere in excess of 20 official languages. It's not a country so much as a civilization that happens to have borders around it. We went to two cities on our adventure, Kolkata in the east, formerly Calcutta, a city that was the seat of British India for over a century and which has its own entirely distinct character, a kind of faded grandeur really, mixed with tremendous intellectual life and street culture that photographers tend to fall for quite hard, as you're about to hear. And Varanasi on the Ganges, which may well be the oldest continuously inhabited city in the world, and which confronts you very directly with questions about life and death that most of us spend considerable energy avoiding. Into all of this walked 8 photographers, in alphabetical order now: Anne, Bill, Fraser, Lloyd, Mercedes, Nicola, Owen and Peter, along with my travelling partner from the journey beyond, Lynn Fraser, and our Indian mentors and guides, Shivam, Shubh, Mohit and Arvind. What you're about to hear is an India special edition of the Photowalk podcast. And honestly, as you'll hear, it affected us in ways we weren't expecting. It's a long episode, and for that I'll make no apology. But then we do have next week off, it being an Easter break, so you may want to listen to it in 2 servings. But I hope with the music, the characters, the surprises and the scenes described that you'll feel you photowalked there with us. And to start the show, a moment walking with our lead mentor and guide, Shivam Pandey. Shivam, it does not seem a year since we were in this country of yours, this beautiful, exotic, wondrous, sometimes weird place that you call home, that we love.
Yes. It feels like that you just left yesterday and today again I see your face. Maybe also because we kept in touch on video calls most of the time, probably once a month, and planning this trip and suddenly it's all here, it's all physical with 10 people. That's amazing, huh? And thank you. I love that you just trusted me with Kolkata and Varanasi, because I love Kolkata and I want everyone to just visit.
It's your hometown, isn't it, Kolkata?
I've been here from last 17 years. So I was 12 when I came to Kolkata for the first time to study, and since then it became my home.
So tell me the special nature of Kolkata. What makes it this special place? I know you live here, you love it, you photographed here, you've made films about this place, but what makes it an absolute go-to for street photography and visiting India?
Yeah, I think I know the word. People.
Ah.
Yeah, I mean, I know you will say it's the nicest people. People are very nice in all across India. But then you come to Kolkata, it's the nicest. So it's the transition from nice to the nicest. You know?
Nice to nice.
It's like, I mean, I photograph the same people over and over. I go to the same streets, I just see them. And people are like, I saw them 10 years ago. I took a photo of them 10 years ago, and maybe today morning me and you just go for a walk, and I saw you the same people. They still have the same joy, even if I point my camera at them to photograph. It's just amazing. That's one of the and the way a lot of the intellectuals of this city have described it's a city that is living in past, present, and future, all three forms at once.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's amazing place.
This is a particular treat for me. We're in we're in one of the oldest, most traditional taxis in Kolkata. What are these called? These are the
cars are particularly called ambassadors,
ambassadors.
but they're popularly known as the yellow taxis.
But unfortunately, they're not going to be much longer. If one breaks down, you lose it, don't you? They're replacing them.
No, so the company that initially used to make this, that is not making it anymore. That got bankrupt. So there are only maybe 3,000 taxis left, and each of them has now an expiry date. So the government has issued a notice that there's a certain number of years the taxi is allowed to run, and a lot of them are now losing their year. So this taxi, I'll ask them, Uncle, Dada, आपका कितना साल बाकी है अभी ये टैक्सी का?
2 साल.
So 2.5. So he can drive this taxi for next 2.5 years. After that, he'll have to scrap this.
Then what's he going to do?
I think he will just use the normal cabs now, like an Uber or something. He will drive that.
How long's he had this? Can you ask him how long he's had this cab?
चाचा, कितना साल से आप टैक्सी ये चला रहे हैं? ये आपका कितना साल पुराना है?
हम ज़्यादा नहीं जा रहे हैं. मैं दूसरा बिजनेस था.
So he's new to this profession, so it's not his own taxi. But ये टैक्सी कितना साल पुराना है आप बता सकते हैं? So this taxi is 12.5 years old.
It looks a lot older than that. 12 and a half.
Yeah.
Times 5.
Maybe. And I think now I know that like a taxi can be run for 15 years.
Right.
So he mentioned like 2.5 years is left that this taxi can be on the road. So I think 15 years, yellow taxi's life is worth 15 years.
So they do look, I mean, these taxis look like something out of the, what would you say, Lynn, 50s? Sort of, it's got that 50s kind of feel to it, hasn't it? The beautiful sort of rounded bonnet and boot, and it's got that quality of a 1950s car, but it's not that old, obviously. They don't weather well.
They've been around the block a few times, I think.
Yeah. Oh, it's lovely though. I was really looking forward to being in one of these. And here I am, day one, in one. I'm going to turn this off and get some pictures. Oh, he turned his engine off. Has he got auto cutter? Is this hybrid?
Hybrid, I don't know.
That's a joke. Should be. I thought you knew my humour from last year.
So the reason why he turned this off, there could be two reasons. One is to save the petrol, and the other is these taxis get overheated a lot. The engines get overheated a lot. So if it gets too much heated, he needs to stop in the middle of the road and then put cold water or some water on the, I think that's called radiator. That's why they turn it off. And during the summers, maybe in the month of May and June, it's really bad to use these taxis. Like, it's so much burning, you know.
Wow.
And every 5-7 minutes, every next big traffic, they would get off and put a water bottle on the radiator to just cool down the radiator so that they can run it.
What a pain in the right royal whatsits to have to do that, goodness. But I do love the car. It's fantastic.
एक बार इंजन तेज कीजिए ना चाचा, एक बार इंजन तेज कीजिए ना, एक बार इंजन तेज कीजिए ना और म्यूजिक रिकॉर्ड करें.
There we go. Tick off list. Been in ambassador cab. Before our guests arrived, another thing we did was, with a small group, travel across the city to the Mother House, which is on AJC Bowes Road, a fairly unremarkable street, which is perhaps the point. It doesn't really announce itself grandly. There's no queue of tour buses, thank heavens. You'd almost walk past it. But inside is the headquarters of the Missionaries of Charity, the organisation Mother Teresa founded in 1950, which still operates out of this building today. Sisters in white and blue saris move through corridors, volunteers too, the whole thing functioning exactly as it has for decades. It's a place of pilgrimage and a working institution simultaneously. Mother Teresa was born in what is now North Macedonia in 1910, came to India in 1929 as a young nun, and spent nearly 2 decades teaching in Calcutta before deciding that wasn't enough. She wanted to work directly, really, with the poorest people in the city, and it took 2 years to get permission to do that, surprisingly. The Missionaries of Charity started with just 13 members. By the time Mother Teresa passed in 1997, there were over 4,000 sisters working in more than 100 countries. Mother Teresa's study and bedroom are here, up a set of modest steps. But also she's buried here in a room off the main courtyard. Plain marble tomb, flowers, a steady stream of people. It's the chapel too. And Pope Francis canonized her in 2016, Saint Teresa of Calcutta. Look, I'm not a particularly religious person, but the Mother House doesn't really require you to be. And we spent quite a time just in silence, really, observing Mass, as the traffic of the city passed by just feet from us outside an open window. As we approached the start of the workshop, our guests started to fly in, all on time, despite the geopolitical situation that had started the week previous. One of those is a voice you'll recognise from last year. Kolkata, first thing in the morning. The sound you hear is the sound of chai. The hills are alive with a sound it'll never catch on.
No, I don't think so. Just interview, Neil. Just interview.
Yeah, don't sing, Neil. Bill, who was with us last year, is with us again this year. Oh, it's lovely to see you. When I saw you walking into the lobby, I knew it was okay. The planes were working. I thought Bill got here.
That's right. It was a circuitous route, thanks to a certain war in the Middle East, but we wish the people there the best, and the little inconvenience of getting here was perfectly all right with
really,
me.
compared to that. But Bill's got a kind of a mini project within the time away this year, and that is the chai culture. Now, when you mentioned chai culture, first of all, I instantly thought, well, that makes sense. There's a lot of chai being served in all the towns and cities in India, but it's a little more clever than that, because you compared it to something you saw in the States.
Yes, I was struck by a...
Come over, Bill, so we don't get run over.
Yeah, nothing like that.
No.
Vacation. I had an incident at Starbucks back home, and actually, I'll tell you the whole story. I walked in, and I did not use my app. I went to the person at the counter.
What, a real person?
Yes, to place an order.
Oh.
And the person looked at me like a little strange, but he was trained how to talk to people, I guess, but he doesn't do it very much. So at any rate, I gave him my order. In the midst of him taking the order, he had a headset on and was talking to people in the drive-through lane and the other members of his team. But then he glanced over and said, "Okay, what do you want?" And I told him. He said, "Great." I scanned my Starbucks card. And the next thing I knew, he didn't say a word. And after a few minutes, I walked down and my coffee was in the neatly alphabetized little shelf with my name there. So I grabbed the coffee and I sat down and discovered that really everybody in the place were essentially by themselves. Even if they were in a group, they all had their laptop or their mobile device, and they're communicating, but not with each other. And this was in contrast to the scene we saw last year in Jodhpur, where we spent some time at a chai shop. So I did some research to get this project started.
And we've already really, this morning, the four of us have gone out. There's Peter, Lynn, you and I, and we've sat at a chai shop. I've had a conversation with an Indian family. There was an Indian family across the way, quite a large group had come. And then there were single business people, I think, starting their day. Not one person on a phone.
Exactly.
All talking.
Exactly. And I did some research, and there's something called the Ada culture, which is the culture of the tea shops, particularly in Kolkata, where the whole idea is to take time. Don't just run in, grab coffee or tea and run out, but to sit, meet with your neighbors, meet new people, and discuss a variety of topics. And all topics are safe here. Politics, cinema,
Cricket.
Cricket, this time of year in particular. But it's a very person-oriented style of communication. Yeah. And it just, when you walk down the street here, you go past shop to shop, and it just screams out that something very one-to-one person-oriented is happening here.
What do you think you're going to do with the project? Have you had an idea yet, or are you in a let's just see where this one goes stage?
Well, the first deliverable will be an article on Substack. I'll have to do a little bit more research, I think, but I've discovered that being able to combine writing, where you actually have to explain what's on your mind and why the pictures are relevant, marrying that with the pictures is really a useful thing. Not only does your writing improve, but your photography will as well. Yeah. As you go into these chai shops, I'm not just shooting wide shots, but I'm going in on details and trying to show that communication. So for people that like photographing people, it opens up a whole new world.
Remember last year when we were talking, we were on a station and you and I couldn't get a word in edgeways because every time we tried to talk, there was a huge, great diesel loco came through. I thought it was quite funny in the end, actually.
It was. Some great photos came out of that, however, with all the noise.
Well, we're riding the trains again this year. What are you looking forward to? And there is an itinerary, loosely.
Well, I was immediately drawn to the whole idea of going to Varanasi. It's always been on my bucket list because it's such a sacred place. And I clearly don't understand all the nuances of the culture there. But I'm very much looking forward to learning more about what goes on there with the death hostels, where people take their loved ones for a 2-week period as they're approaching death and wait for them to die. And there are entire hostels set up for people in that situation.
It's, I suppose in a Western culture we'd say that's desperately sad, but actually they approach it in a different way. It's it's genuinely a moment for grieving, but also a moment for family, isn't it? Well, I suppose you could say when it happens in the West, we do that too, but not in the same manner.
No. Well, I'm reading a book about it, and certainly with their belief in the Hindu belief in reincarnation, you want to assure that your loved one is going on to a life that's worth, that's a step up from the life they've lived here. And that whole ritual is tied up with the way they deal with death. And it's very interesting because the moment death comes, the body is gone. And that's why they burn it and dispose the ashes in the river, because there's no attachment to that body. It's the soul that people mourn and carry on with them beyond the death.
There we go. From chai to burial. Goodness. It's an extraordinary country, isn't it?
Well, and it is an extraordinary country, and it's the benefit of these workshops is, you're not just taking pictures, but you're invited to immerse yourself in the culture and really embrace the place that you are. And these particular workshops are so valuable in that regard.
Thank you, Bill.
Well, thank you, Neil.
Thank you. I shall take you on as my agent.
Let's talk.
Kolkata's markets are something else entirely. Vendors, porters, buyers, all moving at a pace that does not stop for photographers, obviously. Which, of course, is exactly what makes them worth photographing. Nobody is performing for you. Things are happening because things need to happen. And you're just there with a camera, trying to keep up.
I think they need help.
Pardon?
Are you gonna help him?
There's a man lifting 30 kg of bananas. It's in a basket, and just look at the ease. What are you looking for, Mercedes? What when you're hunting, what are you looking for? We're in a very bit. I know. You're going to have to get used to the microphone with a fluffy head on it. You did this in Paris. You're a professional by now.
I saw you with that on your head. Now I cannot take you seriously.
Come on, what are you looking for?
Honestly, I don't know. No, I don't know.
Is that because your senses are so assaulted here? It is. There's just so much going on.
So much going on.
It really is.
I love the colors, the movement.
And there's pools of light, which are wonderful, aren't there?
They are. I'm not inspired.
Are you not? Okay.
Move on to somebody.
Oh, I see. You're not inspired sound-wise.
Exactly.
I must just say that Mercedes has had training from Steve McCurry.
Oh, no, don't do that again.
You have had this training, so I expect you to have
Too much pressure.
a secret magical edge.
No.
This is when Mercedes walks off. I'm going to go and find Peter, my other friend. I tell you what, if you get in the way here, people with 30, 40 kilos on their head are going to push you out of the way. Pete, it is bedlam in here.
Absolutely.
Mayhem.
It sure is.
Do you even know where to start?
Well, that's the problem. Trying to separate anything out. It's like an organised chaos.
I've got friends of mine who make a very good point. This is our first day, and isolation becomes your friend. So instead of trying to work out this entire scene, to actually isolate parts of it and work as a portrait photographer and then pull out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because you really need to decide on what you're going to photograph, because you can't. It's just too much to take in all of it. So you really do have to be selective and just, you said, pick one subject and concentrate on that.
I keep seeing pools of light, like that man over there that's lying down. Then there's lots of artificial light. That's illuminating people so well that it's isolating them within a larger scene.
It is, but the light levels are so low, so that the...
Oh yeah, but look at the skylights. Look at the light pouring in through those skylights.
Yeah, that's true, but even so, the actual photographing them, you're on a really high ISO and your shutter speed is really quite low with it. But I mean, yeah, the quality of the light is amazing.
I've noticed how they illuminate. So we've got green vegetables over there, and they decided to use that colour that I don't really enjoy as a photographer, which is a bright green light. Oh, hang on, somebody's just turned the lights on.
Yeah, they turn everything fluorescent. I noticed it with the reds as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it really just bounces out at you. It's so strong.
Well, look, I can see that you're scanning the horizon to try and make sense of all this. So I'm going to let you go and photograph it. I'm expecting one on my desk by 3.
Okay, 3:20, okay?
Yeah, you're on. You're hired. Let me see what Shivam's doing down here. What are you explaining here?
I'm explaining, Bill, a lot of the time, a lot of photographers are trying to answer through their photos, right?
Answer?
Like answer something.
Okay.
You see something, you see a photograph, and you photographer's trying to tell you, okay, this was here. That's how this place looks. But for me, a lot of the times I also enjoy photos that initiate some sort of question. So like, why this sweet potato is red, or why this guy is using red color light here.
Well, I know the answer to this.
Yes,
because the red light makes his sweet potatoes look better than that guy over there is using a white light. I'm not buying his.
Yes. So this is the reason, and people would ask the question, why this looks so red? Because of the light that he has put in, and why he has put the light, so that it looks better for the customer. So with this photo, this is what we are trying to do, is we're trying to create that question in the image.
One interesting thing that photographers do a lot, Bill, is they take that picture back and they colour balance it to try and bring in some natural colour, and take the reds out, put a bit of blue in. Yeah. Whereas this picture of this man with his red light, with his sweet potatoes, he's a red picture.
Yeah, it's perfect. And then this is what the question is: why is this so red? Why this photo so red? And then you get the opportunity to tell the story and answer. I was in this market, I saw this. This is what we are doing.
This is a mayhem place. This. I said on our way here, I said, Shivam, is it going to be busy? Is it like the UK on a Sunday? And he said to me, yes, it's like the UK on a Sunday. Shivam, this is nowhere near the look of a typical UK Sunday market.
It's funny that this market, for me, it's like only 50% operational right now.
Yeah.
It's not busy at all.
What?
Yeah. It's literally not busy.
Right, I'll let you carry on shooting, Bill. You're getting top-notch advice from Shivam. It's lovely to hear some bird life. Day 2. We're down by the river, cue the song, just about to go into the largest flower market in Asia. Lloyd is surveying the scene with an utter look of confusion on his face.
Well, it's extraordinary. I mean, yesterday was so intense. Every sense that you got was just overloaded.
It was
with intensity.
Yeah.
It was extraordinary. Everything that's extraordinary about India, obviously the intense colours, the extraordinary smells in the markets and the streets, the sound, the temperature, the changes of colours of things under different lamps, and as the sun changed, and I mean, it was amazing. Everywhere you turned, there was a picture. And so the challenge today is how not to just point the camera anywhere, but to try and get a bit more creative. And I might try some detail shots today, actually. I was thinking about that
sort of thing? Or?
Yeah, and maybe just getting up really close, go macro mode.
That close? Right.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Whether I can carry it out or not, we will see. But at the moment, we're looking at people bathing in the river and an extraordinary bridge behind us and a flower market to go into. So this is an abundance of riches.
It is again. I noticed something from when I was. I'm purposefully trying to calm now. You see.
Yes.
deep breath. Take in the morning smog. It's not that bad. No, I'm purposefully trying to slow myself down. I've listened back to recordings over the last week, so Bangladesh and here on the first day, and I sound like Mickey Mouse. There's an excitement in my voice. So breathe in, breathe out, make photos, enjoy the sounds and the smells, and it's nice to hear the birds, isn't it? Hey?
Really nice. I mean, you could spend the entire week just here, within 200 yards of this place, with everything that's going on. But we've only got an hour and a half, so we're only allowed to breathe deeply for a short period of time, and then we've got to get back to action.
Well, that's true. Although we're not moving far after the hour and a half today, just to the bridge. I know you want to go and take pictures, so macros at the ready.
Off we go.
Go. So Shivam, I watched your film about the flower market. Is it even the same flower market that you went to? Did you go to an English one? Because it was a lot quieter than I've just been walking through.
This is what a busy flower market looks like.
Yeah. So when did you photograph it? At closing down time?
No. I photographed the same time, but I think today they have a festival. That's why everybody's here to buy flowers. Yeah. We come back here tomorrow again. After shooting the wrestlers, we'll probably have half an hour, 45 minutes. Then you might just see a little eased up. But it was a little too much of a chaos.
I had to start using my chola a lot just to get through.
To the Indian people?
Yeah, I was giving as good as I got in the end.
Oh, man.
What an experience, though.
Yeah.
When it's that busy, advice on what you look for, what do you give advice? What advice, rather, do you give to people that you're showing through that market? When it's such, I mean, there's a word in our language called bedlam, which is a uncomfortable word because it has all sorts of connotations with mental health. But if there was a bedlam, if you were using that word as a colloquialism, that's where I'd use it.
I think what I would do is find a corner and just wait for things to happen there instead of trying to go in the scenes and make it work, because there is no scene. Because it's just like, it's just too much. So finding a corner where there's good light or colors, just stay there and wait for people to just come in to you. That's what I was telling everyone.
Well, I did do that, actually, and I found myself, I think I told Lynn this, I found myself nudged up against somebody's flower heads. And I thought, I got a good spot here. And I was anchored, and then suddenly there was a thwack across my leg. He'd picked up a stick and he'd hit me with it because I was knocking the heads off his flowers.
Yeah, they don't mess up with you don't mess up with their business.
Well, first of all, it was, and then I saw what I'd done, I thought, fair enough. Hit me again if you must.
Oh no, it was a crazy day. And it's so funny that like there's nobody here.
Well, outside there isn't, not by the river, no.
Yeah, right here, nobody's here. No. But in the market, there's like 10,000 people.
Amazing. Right, I'm ready for a dip. Who's brought their swimming trunks? Who's got their Speedos? Let's go in the river. Even though we're going to refer to it as so, the river that runs through Kolkata isn't technically the Ganges, though it might as well be. The Hooghly is a distributary, a branch that splits from the main Ganges further north and runs south through the city before emptying into the Bay of Bengal. Sacred in the same way, used in the same way, treated with the same mixture of reverence and practicality that Indians have always brought to their rivers. The Hooghly is also the reason Kolkata exists at all. The British East India Company established a trading post on its banks in the late 1600s, and the city really grew from there. For a long time, it was the most important port in Asia, the commercial engine. And that's all changed. The river silted up over the decades, the big container traffic moved elsewhere, and Kolkata slipped from the centre of things. The water's still there, though, with the Howrah Bridge crossing it, one of the busiest bridges in the world. And somehow, still standing after 80 years, without a single nut or bolt holding its main structure together. Rivets, you see? The whole thing, rivets. Worth knowing when you're crossing it.
Oh, the breeze up here is lovely. A very famous bridge.
Yeah, the Howrah Bridge. Probably my favorite man-made thing in the world. Because the way I'm connected to it, like emotionally, and I've used it like every single day of my life. The fun fact it's the world's busiest bridge.
World's busiest bridge.
Yeah.
More than the San Francisco Golden Gate.
They have more cars or things going like that, but this bridge has most pedestrian crossing every single day in the world. The reason is because Kolkata is not divided. It's that side is a different city. This side is a different city. So if we go up here, if we cross the bridge, we are in Howrah.
Right.
But this side of the bridge is Kolkata. So they both are different places. And people live in Howrah, but they work in Kolkata. So every day they have to cross.
Is Harab a quieter city? It is, isn't it?
Yes, it's a little quieter city, but I think population is almost the same.
And what do you look for when you're photographing on this bridge?
So because I come to this bridge every morning for sunrise, so if you see from behind us is the sun, and now the light is just super nice on all the people who are walking this way. So I would just wait for interesting people to walk in this passage of the bridge, and
so
just
find a spot and wait.
Yeah, find a spot where there's good light and just wait.
Yeah.
Other thing is I also like to capture the yellow taxis on the bridge and the blue buses. They are super interesting because if you go on any other street, there's always going to be some sort of distraction or foreground that you don't want. But on the bridge, you just go on that edge and it's gone. Yeah. So it's super clear.
Oh, so I can go in the middle?
No, not in the middle.
It'll make an interesting shot.
Yeah. Interesting shot for police, maybe.
I won't be doing that one then.
And also, because we used this place, this bridge also tells you the story of the importance of Howrah station, the train station. Because that train station and this bridge connects all the villages on the other side of the river to Kolkata, because you can grow your flowers, you can grow your vegetables, you can grow everything, put it on the train, take a ride for an hour, put it on your head and just drop it to the next side. Look, this is what all of them are doing. So all of them are carrying flowers.
So this bridge is arterial to both the cities?
Yes, it's the connection. And fun fact, it used to be back in days, that's what I've heard, it used to be open into two parts. Like, this side will go on, like, it just opens.
How do you mean? Opens?
Like the bridge just goes like this.
Oh, so
that big ships can pass.
So it used to have a cantilever, like a bit like Tower Bridge in London.
Yes.
Where would that have been? I can't see where that would have been.
I think it's this one, this center.
Oh, these plates here, and it doesn't.
Maybe in between.
But it doesn't do that anymore.
No, because we made another bridge up there. So that one is pretty high.
Well, I'm going to try and photograph it. Thank you. I saw yesterday, Peter, I'm sure it was you that was doing quite a lot of panning. Was it? You take a fair panning. Oh, it was the yellow taxi.
I was trying to, but it was pretty much total failure.
I think that wasn't the panning that was a failure. It was the scene, wasn't it? They couldn't quite get what you saw, what you were hoping to see.
Yes, I was trying to position the taxi to link in with a big yellow sign, a big matching yellow sign at the back. It didn't quite come off, but we will try again.
Well, this is a good place to do a panning shot because we've got I hope you can hear me, the yellow taxis, the old buses, a lot of traffic going past, and you can isolate one of these beautiful yellow ambassador taxis. What's your tip for shutter speed and so on for when you're panning anyway?
I tend to work around about a 60th of a second.
Any slower and it almost becomes impossible with this speed?
Yeah, I think so, because the actual you're not get. I'm finding I'm not getting a sharp vehicle. The background looks great, but so the vehicle is blurry. So it's got a slight blur on it.
Would you even employ 60th for the slower moving? Is this one on cue? Slower moving bicycles and these tenders behind a bicycle. I know they're moving a lot slower, but a 30th. I've tried a 30th and they're a bit shaky.
I would tend to go to a 30th or even a 15th, because as long as you're stable and if you have stabilization in the camera, the only movement you should be getting is the person or the cart.
Just seen a lovely scene that evaded both of us. It was the man with the milk urns. That would have been a good panner. I'll let you pan.
We shall try. We shall give it another go.
Yeah. Working the scene is Nicola. What are you looking for, Nicola?
Buses, contrast buses with the bikes and the guys who are pushing their bikes up here, and just, life in general.
Scenes of traffic. 2 days in, how are you feeling? How's your photography going?
Yes, great. It's a bit hit and miss sometimes, I think, just because there's so many people. It's trying to isolate what you're trying to capture, but also show the chaos that generally is around you as well. It's challenging.
Your photography usually is horses, dogs, which move, but they're isolated in so far as you're in a woodland with them on your own.
Absolutely, yeah.
Here, the world is with you.
The world and his wife.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, life is just there, everywhere.
Well, you can hear the chaos behind Nicola's voice. Nicola, I'll let you carry on.
Thank you.
Good luck. And what's the plan?
Well, there's no plan. That's the beauty of it.
This bridge is great, isn't it? What are you looking for? I know you say there's no plan, but
I'm looking for a yellow cab. I'm gonna practice slow shutter. Yes, panning. Yep.
So what shutter speed have you chosen? Because I've just been having a lesson from the panning expert Pete.
Okay, tell me.
Well, I'm intrigued to see what you're shooting at.
I'm on 8.
You're an 8, which might be a bit slow. According to Peter's world,
Okay, tell me.
60th for a car.
60, really?
15th or a 30th for one of our rickshaws.
Yeah. Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah. Have a go.
Thank you. I will.
Gumultali is a neighbourhood in the north of the city, where families have been making clay idols for centuries in Kolkata. The work is generational, actually, skills passed down, the same techniques, the same hands, shaping the same forms that have been shaped here for as long as anyone can remember. Can I use the word shape anymore in a sentence? They make figures of the gods, most famously Durga, whose festival is the biggest event in the Kolkata calendar. An enormous city-wide celebration that takes months of preparation and about 4 days to be over. The idols end up being immersed in the river at the end of it, which means the whole process has to start all over immediately. Walking through this area, you're stepping around half-finished figures in various states of construction. Straw armatures, raw clay, faces that are almost there but not quite. The workshops are open to the street and the artists working in full view. We came across a family who were looking for particular small idols that were hopefully going to end in a marriage.
Lynn always manages to find a friend within a few meters of wherever we get out of a car, tuk-tuk or van. And you are?
My name is Chanchal Karil and I'm an artist.
An artist and
an
animator, I hear.
Yeah, I study animation.
Yeah.
And I'm here to buy some handmade idols for Gangor Puja.
So we are in the pottery district, I suppose is what we might call it, Lynn?
Kumar Tuli.
Pottery, Kumar?
Kumar Tuli. Kumar, the word Kumar means someone who works with earthen pots and mud.
Okay.
See, what happens is unmarried girls in Rajasthani culture, they pray to Lord Shiva and Shakti, who are the embodiment of nature, to get good husbands and good families for their future. It's a ritual.
Okay.
So Mother Nature in the form of Ma Parvati, who is the goddess, she blesses unmarried girls and also newly married women. She bestows...
So are you unmarried or newly married?
Unmarried.
You're unmarried, okay.
Yes.
So this is what you need to give you good luck to find a good husband.
Yes.
Ah.
That's the point.
See, it takes me a while to catch on, but when I do, I'm fully engaged.
Yes, I can see.
Did Lynn tell you to say that?
No, I didn't. You want to know more about the story, a little bit more?
Please do, yes.
Yes. So,
and insult me as much as you feel you need to.
Huh. Okay, we'll be frank. So this is Lord Shiva and Mata Parvati, and we worship for 16 days. Okay, so they come. We take it to our homes. Okay,
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
yes
characters or figures in here.
One is Shiva.
Yeah.
One is his brother.
Yes, Shiva, brother.
And these two are Ma Parvati's friends. She is the one who makes garland, flowers.
And I now see that there's lots of different versions of this story it feels like in a boat sort of thing.
The name Ganagor, in Gan, the Gan is Shiva and the Gaur is Gaura, who is Mata Parvati, Mother Nature.
Mm-hmm.
And young girls and newly married ones, they take the idols to their home and they worship them for 16 days.
So you're going to worship what you're buying here for 16 days.
Yes.
And hopefully that's going to bring you a good husband.
Yes, hopefully.
What is a good husband?
A good husband is one who respects his wife, who takes care of her.
That's all you need, isn't it, really?
Her.
Yeah. Your family are looking... Who's he?
My brother.
It was your brother? No, well, he can't be a husband then, can he?
He's very young.
He's too young as well, I can see. He's also very, very shy.
He's in school. I've graduated.
Okay. And this is... Who's this?
My mom.
This is
my
your mum?
Mahabi.
So does your mum... So when you find this good husband, does your mum have to give him blessing for you to be able to marry him?
Yes.
So you have to give the blessing to...
My parents will have to give blessing to the man whom I will marry. They are looking for an ideal husband, potential...
You never find an ideal husband, ever.
Can I just say that you should never buy into Lynn's cynicism? And whilst I realise that's going completely over your head at the moment, one day you'll understand.
You both are married, like...
No, we're not married to each other.
Yeah,
no,
that
no,
I know.
No.
Like you both are.
I have a wife.
Yes.
I'm not sure whether she'd say I'm a good husband. And Lynn has a husband.
Yes, I have a
Is he a good husband?
On the whole, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
We all have our moments, really. We're not perfect.
None of us are perfect.
No, especially me.
In India, we have a saying like, "Shadi ka laddu jo khaye wo pachtaye, jo na khaye wo bhi pachtaye."
What does that mean?
That marriage is something, if you do it, you will have regret. If you don't do it, then also you'll have regret. In a funny way, an anecdote.
Is there anything in there about, and I'm being serious now, about perfection? Do you have to have a perfect husband or?
Perfect husband, we actually connect to Lord Shiva as the perfect husband and Mata Parvati. That's why we worship them.
That's why you worship.
It's
Now I
it's
understand.
ages old tradition.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for the lesson. I feel I know a bit more about that. So I would not have known what these were about.
Yeah, so I'll take them home. And
Yeah.
I'll
And you
offer
worship,
them prasadam,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
food items. I'll offer them jewelry, new clothes, flowers, and fresh grass, and some water. And I'll do worshipping. I'll sing songs also. Every day I'll be singing songs.
What songs do you sing?
Marwari songs.
Rajasthani songs.
Rajasthani songs.
How do they sound? Is anybody brave enough to sing one?
Okay, I can sing one. So when we start the puja, we ask early morning. We pray to Mata Parvati so that she opens her door and she blesses everybody. So I can sing one song.
Well, if you don't mind, that would be lovely. Is that all right?
Yeah, absolutely. गोर एगन गोर माता खोल की वाड़ी बाहर उबी बाई पूजन वाली पूजोए पूजाओ सैयों क्या फल मांगा मांगाए मैं अन्न धन लाछर लक्ष्मी जलहर जामी बाबुल मांगा राता देई मायड़ कान कवर सो वीरो मांगा राई सी भोजाई.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Well, I better let you keep shopping. So the perfect husband may come along. Good luck. Thank you so much. It's lovely to meet your family. It really was. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I hope you're proud.
See you again. Bye-bye. Nice to meet you. Bye-bye.
Down by the river sounds like the start of a song. Early morning, there are wrestlers. Now, this isn't a tourist attraction or a display. It's training, serious and daily, in open-air earthen pits. Wrestling has deep roots in Indian culture, tied to ideas of discipline, physical devotion and community that goes back centuries. Traditionally, it was connected to Hindu spiritual practice. The body treated as something to be perfected alongside the mind. Strength as a form of devotion rather than just competition. It's a fabulous spectacle to photograph. You just have to find an angle somehow.
The group are busy photographing the wrestlers. We photographed some wrestling last year, but all the rings and all the people, all the characters behind it are very different. And you actually know these guys quite well, don't you?
Yeah, so I think I met these guys 10 years ago, and not all of them are the guys I met for the first time, but I knew Suraj's dad because they come from, let's say, 50 kilometers away from where I was born and raised.
So Suraj is the man that runs this?
Yes, Suraj is the son of the guy who started it. We call him Guruji, means like mentor. And now Suraj is the Guruji because he took over the place and now he's running it after his dad passed away during COVID. Yeah.
I remember meeting the mentor last year. He was something like 80-something years old, wasn't he? He'd been working this, or where we were, for 60 years.
Yeah. So in India, most of the people don't change their job or what they are doing for their entire life. You know, it's not very common that I decide tomorrow to do something else and I can just do it. So that's why people are staying there for quite long. And even for all these people, they just come here in the morning to work out, and after that they all have a day job. Someone is like looking after a parking, someone is a security guard, someone is a accountant, and all these. I think they are ringing the bell, so it's a prayer time. Wrestling is a lot more. It's a connection between religion and being fit. So every pit wherever you see in entire India is a temple because they put Lord Hanuman into it.
But is the ring a temple as well?
Yes, the ring is a temple as well.
Right.
Yeah. So now it's the temple time. Guys, we need to photograph this.
I'll let you go and organize them while we'll catch up in a moment. And now the wrestling begins. There's a fairly convincing thud when one of them goes over, isn't it, Owen?
Yeah, there is. I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of it.
You mean you're not trunking up for this?
I'm not sure I look good in a pair of those orange trunks. And I don't think that's something anybody wants to see, especially not photograph. I think it would burn long enough on the retinas as it is.
It's tricky, isn't it, to get a good angle on this, because there's it's reasonably quick, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to slow the shutter speed down a little bit and capture some
to move the sand as it goes whoosh.
Yeah, and capture some of the movement as the guys are moving around as well. It's very dynamic. But yeah, obviously lots of us around trying to shoot through the metal grill as well.
Yeah, because you can't go into the ring because it's a sacred area.
Yeah, exactly. You have to respect that, right? But the metal grill as well gives you that sense of the environment that they're in.
So you're using the metal grill for context.
In the photograph, yeah, to say that they're inside this. I mean, you can see it on the other side, obviously, but it's nice to kind of get that in the front, in the frame as well, closer up.
I think he's... you notice how the master is whipping them with a stick. If he's not, the stick bit seems particularly cruel when you're down already, doesn't it? How are you doing, Mercedes?
I'm good. This is very entertaining. They're so strong and agile.
The agility, you're right.
But I love this.
Is he having a cuddle or is he wrestling?
Go and find out.
There's no way I would get into the ring with any of these guys. They'd eat me for breakfast. The young lad who's the apprentice, I reckon I might have a chance.
I don't know.
But even
he's putting himself upside down. I don't know.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe I'll just stick to the photos.
Think twice.
Yes. Fraser's going to have a. Yeah, his face is in the sand. Fraser is going to have a cracking picture there because he's right next to the action. Oh.
What does that mean?
I don't know. In boxing, that will be round out. Go into the corner, swill a bit of water.
The picture over there is the owner.
Yes, yeah, the picture behind the lads now. That's the father of the current owner, or the owner. Well, as they're wrestling, there's no friendliness going on, is there? They mean it. He's going to push his head in the face in the sand. Actually eating the dust here. Oh, here they come. You've got this one. Ask him if he can push his face into the sand this way. He's looking in pain.
One of the reasons I first visited India, I'll level with you, was the railways. I spent hours watching the great railway train adventures with various TV presenters, mainly Michael Palin, with my father. And so a trip to the railways is something that I always have to do. Photographing life on the trains is actually reasonably easy. People seem very relaxed with your presence with a camera, and they're spending their time looking out of the windows, sitting just inside open doors as the world speeds by. And it didn't take long to find Bill with his camera poised on this, our last day in Kolkata before moving on to Varanasi.
I found Bill lingering at the back of the coach.
Yeah, this is where it all happens, Neil.
As I approached you, you said there's not much happening.
No. I did get a couple of nice shots of people hanging out the train, but it's a little risky.
You've been hanging out?
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Well, I was hanging out to see them hanging out.
Any other shots you've been getting? What would you recommend? You're a past master at riding the Indian railways now.
Well, I particularly like shots of, like there was a food vendor in the last cabin I was on, and I got to see people serving up lunch.
Oh, have you?
And eating lunch on the train, and it looked appetizing.
Didn't feel like sitting down and having some.
No, I don't. We don't have time, but it did look appetizing, and a lot of people took advantage of it.
We're taking a boat across the Ganges, which is altogether a little quieter than the train was a moment ago. When we set off in the train, I said to you, take us somewhere really busy, and you said to me, trust me, Neil, it will get busy.
Yeah.
And it did get busy.
Yeah. So the way I've designed this journey is I start when it's golden light from the sun in the train, and then when we finish our journey, all the people who work in Kolkata, they have their offices closed, and then they are coming to join the train for their commute, and that's what we saw.
Yeah, the challenge is that everybody has to get on the train
and get
off the train in the right places.
Yes, exactly.
By reading Indian railway signs that don't have any English. But we managed, and in between each stop, we would get off and we'd run to the next coach, so you could get on and then open train, get on and then photograph people riding the train. What do you look for when you're photographing people riding the train in India? Because it is different to where I ride the train. For a start, the doors never close.
So I look always. I'm always looking for the windows, but also I found out because I've been doing it for a long time. Okay, so I know even the small details of the train. One of the things my friend Mohit was telling that he found out after doing it for like 10-12 journeys is he found out the connection between kids and their parents or kids and the mothers. It's really cool how they keep them together so that they don't get lost, and then the kids have a curiosity in their eyes. Mothers are explaining it to them what's going on. So I look for all that, and maybe sometimes for me personally, I look for people who are working in the train, who are trying to sell something in the train.
The vendors.
Yeah. I enjoy them a lot.
I went on the vendors coach, and when we originally got on, the police guy, he kicked me out.
It's an interesting story. He kicked you out because. I shouldn't say, but I will say it anyways. He kicked you out because he was about to take a bribe from one of the vendors. I stayed there and I saw it.
Hey.
Yeah.
Cheeky.
Yeah, so he didn't want you to see it.
Yeah, I didn't argue with him because he was carrying a sidearm.
Yeah. They are a railway police force, so.
Yeah. But it was a fantastic train journey. I enjoyed that. You've got to work quite quickly, and when you run between the coaches, I got caught out by the fact there was the women-only coach.
Yeah, I saw you running like.
And I ran, and there was one coach, and I thought that's all right. I've got past it. And then there was a second one.
I saw you doing that. Yeah, it gets very stimulating while photographing it because everything's happening so fast. You know, so you gotta see, you gotta react, you gotta take photos. It's challenging, but again, it's rewarding too.
Yeah.
And then clubbing it with the ferry ride, I think everything just works out.
I have no idea if I've got good photos. I think she'll find out when I download it to the laptop. Right, we need to help Nicola out. Here we go.
It's gonna be there.
A lovely ride across the river, Bill. Hey?
It was just the way you want a river cruise to be. Quick and painless, but there was no bar.
There was no what?
Bar.
Bar?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant the bar. I'm getting used to people saying the bars across the entries.
No.
There's never bars across entries on trains. You meant no alcohol. Bill, I'll buy you a beer when we get back.
Oh, that's a deal.
Nice cold beer on a warm evening. How did you do, Anne? Did you get some pictures on the ferry, or was it mainly the train?
The train. Oh my gosh, I love that. That was the best.
What did you get on the train? Why was it particularly interesting for you?
Just the rush, the adrenaline rush.
I saw you running between the coaches.
Hopped out, trying to. I kept thinking to myself, find the light. So finding people in the light. That was the main thing.
The two lights are extreme because you're either shooting against a door, in which case you're getting a silhouette. Otherwise, you're going to have blown out highlights.
Yep.
Or you're shooting people who are looking out of a window.
Right.
And the windows don't have windows; they are barred. They're open,
Exactly.
so you get beautiful sunlight coming through them.
Yep. So and obviously inside the cars it's dark.
Yeah.
So switching settings quickly, and I guess I'll see what I got.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far, I think I've spotted a couple that I was happy with. So.
What is it? One great shot a day. Everybody's happy. Everybody's happy.
All too quickly, our time in Kolkata was over, and we moved on to Varanasi. Now, if Kolkata has history, Varanasi has something older than that. This is one of the most ancient continuously inhabited cities on Earth, sitting on the banks of the Ganges, proper this time, and it's been a centre of Hindu pilgrimage for somewhere in the region of 3,000 years. Mark Twain came here in the 1890s and wrote that Varanasi was older than history, older than tradition, older even than legend. People come to bathe in the river here, to pray on the ghats, the long stone steps that run down to the water, and many come specifically to die here, because dying in Varanasi is believed to bring moksha, liberation from the cycle of rebirth. It's a city where life and death are conducted entirely in the open, without any of the separation we tend to put between them in the West. And that takes some adjusting to, as you're about to hear. Our mentor and guide through all this is Shivam, of course, and he has his own relationship with this special place.
The personal part of the story is I was born and raised just 40 kilometers away from here. So this place is my first home, and Kolkata is my second home. And the place has one thing which I think is going to be here for all the time, and that is the spirit of this place. The culture that this place carries, you can just see it in everyone's body language, in eyes, the way they speak. I think spirit and culture is what I would come Varanasi for, in order to just see, experience and photograph.
In Kolkata, obviously, we had the, you'd have heard already, the markets, then we had the wrestling, there was the bridge, there was the energy of that, there's the dogs.
Again.
But in Varanasi, I'm assuming this is going to feel much more spiritual and relaxed, or am I about to see a city that's as busy?
The city has got its own balance into it, okay? So every morning, what I want to do is start with really slow on the ghats and just seeing people doing their spiritual and religious things.
Yep.
But in the evening, I want to put you guys into these back street where there's so much going on. There's cows, dogs, people making food, chai, motorcycles coming through these narrow alleys.
Which is what we're seeing, yeah?
Yeah, this is what you're going to see in the way I explain in my videos, from calmness to chaos.
Yeah. There is one thing I've noticed, and I've noticed this through the people that are photographing with us, and that is, it's a place people feel very comfortable and secure in. You're going out and photographing. Even in the busyness of Kolkata, people were going out photographing, not feeling that they were in any kind of danger at all. It was a very safe... I'm always very careful, because you have to be careful whenever you go to a city. There's going to be characters wherever you are in the world. But I felt that, particularly for those returning with us, that they felt safe and secure and just went out and did their own thing.
Yes, I think what happened with the people who returned, I think they returned with so much confidence. All I had to do is to just put them in right direction, and they were doing their own thing. And as a Indian, for me, it's a very proud moment when people just feel happy and safe and secure in this country.
There's one place I'm going to ask that we visit, and I'm hoping you'll say yes. It might seem an odd request, but I am intrigued to see the funeral ghats, because it's something that for most of us, I would think, is completely out of our comfort zone, and certainly what we used to.
Yes, it's in the plan. I'm gonna take you guys up there to show. Personally, I don't photograph it a lot. I've just taken few photos up there because I'm Indian and I see those families, so I just try to keep it as respectful as possible. And for you guys also, it'll be the same. I think when you see the place and you see the emotion, it will just ask you to just stay still and just observe what's going on there. And it's a very strong place, so we'll have to just be prepared to be there and experience it. And I'm excited for you to experience it.
Next part of the adventure ahead of us. Last year, part of
our touring, guiding team was Arvind. You haven't been with us for the first part of the
last year,
adventure,
yes.
but you haven't been with us the first part of this adventure.
This adventure, yes.
What have you done to your finger, heaven's sake?
I'm shooting in Punjab, Hola Mola.
Oh, this is a wound from shooting at a festival.
Yeah, festival.
What on earth were you doing?
During the Hola Mola.
Throwing
Punjab.
yourself on the floor or something?
Not floor, just cut. There is a sharp blade kind of things. Just crossed and just cut. Yeah. Yeah.
You describe this, Varanasi, as your second home.
Yeah, Varanasi is like my second home because when I start my journey as a photographer, this place helped me, to connect with peoples. This is my practice place.
So you've also bathed here, haven't you?
Yeah, when some special day, like big moon day or any eclipse.
We've got a moon day today, haven't we? Look at that.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow. Maybe, yeah.
Because, hang on a moment. I've got a boat passing with a moon just above it. Let me get a photograph. So what do you look for? Because Varanasi, I wasn't expecting this many people to be up by 6. I thought we'd be the first.
Yeah, but most of the peoples come from outsiders.
Right.
Yeah, nowadays 50-50 ratio. Yeah, before most of the Varanasi's people come here and bath here first, then they will start their day.
There's a lot of local tourists, aren't there? A lot of Indian tourists.
Yes.
The chap with the orange, beautiful orange, what would that be? How would you describe his dress?
Yeah, this is a Indian sadhu. That's called sadhus or monk. You can call monk also. Yeah.
And he's come down he seems to be praying.
There is a different kind of sadhus. Yeah, some people with the orange and some people was naked also,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to drink this atmosphere in. You're listening to the Photowalk's India Special 2026. I meant to tell you this earlier. I'm sure you'd probably worked it out for yourself, but there will be photographs on today's show page. So go to episode 526, the India Special, and you'll find photos there from those adventurers travelling with us. We'll be adding to the page over the coming weeks. Now, the alarm went off if you wanted a lie-in at 5:45 each morning, which in Varanasi is the norm, it seems. Asi Ghat, where we were staying, hosted a morning ceremony, a daily ritual of prayer and music and fire that greets the sunrise over the Ganges. And there's one later on to see the sun go down too. Priests perform arti, offering flames toward the river as an act of devotion, while locals gather to pray and bathe and begin their day. It happens every single morning without fail, regardless of season or weather or the number of bleary-eyed photographers pointing cameras at it. As a scene to wake up to, though, I can think of worse ones. I wasn't sure, Owen, that we'd be on our own, but I wasn't expecting this many people out and about by 6.
Early bird catches the worm, as they say.
Lots happening on the Ghat. There's all sorts of ceremonies taking place. We've got people dipping in the water already. Ladies in beautiful saris. We've got sadhus, not the naked ones yet. Did you not know about that bit?
You'll need to educate me on that one, I think.
Well, I think you'll educate yourself soon enough on that particular one.
I look forward to that.
Well,
experience.
what have you been focusing on, or is it at the moment on a first day in a new city and a new place? Well, look at that sunshine coming across those two boats there. But you keep shooting if you need to. Don't. I'll talk as you shoot. So, what are you looking for? What are you training your camera on?
I've mostly been looking at people getting kind of on and off the boats. I probably need to ask Shiv, what's happening with these boats? Where are they going? You might know. Do you know?
Well, the boats go out, and essentially they'll make their way up and down these first 2 or 3 ghats.
I mean, there's clearly a lot of domestic tourism here, isn't there?
Yeah.
The Shiv was telling us last night about all the people that come here on pilgrimages. Yeah, lots of people, and they've all got their cameras out, and some people have asked me to take pictures of them with their phones. And
come the big festivals, and the Kumbh Mela isn't here. That's at a different place altogether. But there's millions upon millions of people that make their way to places like this to celebrate.
I'd never heard of the place, to be honest. Before I'd heard of this tour with you guys, I hadn't heard of Varanasi before, so it was, I don't know if that's just my unlearned experience, but
all the more learned for being here now.
Exactly.
You've seen this lady over there. She was being dipped in the water by her friend. Right.
I'm going to catch some of these down here.
Yes, go down. Make some pictures. Across here, he says, stepping tentatively over cart handles, is our intrepid photographer with a longer lens today, 70 to 200, a white one, which says, in anybody's photographic language, I am professional. Stay away, pro coming through. Lloyd, it's difficult to know what to photograph first here.
It certainly is. I'm trying to take it all in. It is, I don't know, the ambience. It started off reasonably quiet for what Varanasi can be quiet before 6. And it's just waking up, and the sun has been peeking over the horizon, and it's gone from a beautiful deep crimson, and now it's burning through a little bit of haze, and it's going to probably burn us to a crisp, particularly you and I, because I haven't brought a hat this morning.
Nor have I. I have to admit, my blithering idiotness when I first saw that, thinking, oh, the moon's disappearing. Before realising that the slight scrim of, I'm going to call it scrim, of air quality is revealing it to be the sun. How daft was I? But it's extraordinary, isn't it?
It is extraordinary. It is. I mean, when we got here last night, I mean, it was so hot, and I mean, it was quite overpowering in terms of all the different, the senses, and it's, well, way out of my comfort zone. This morning, with all this chanting and the incense being burnt, I mean, already I don't know, I'm sort of feeling a little bit of spiritual energy in the air.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
And everyone sort of seems to be very calm and just admiring the scene, but the bathing has just begun. Feels quite tempting, other than the water itself. The spiritual water.
I'm told we have a lot of spiritual cold water in the hotel. Mercedes this morning, as we were setting off, said, "Do you have hot water?" I said, "I don't think anybody has hot water. Take this as a cold water plunge and connect with your spirituality."
Otherwise, it's a dry hotel, and the spiritual water you and I may have been looking forward to last night was not showing itself.
Yes, within 2 kilometres of a temple here, it's a dry zone. No meat. So for the carnivores, vegetarian, and for those that like a cool beer of an evening, that ain't happening either. Unless you move 2 kilometres into the city, and then it's all all bets are off. But it is beautiful, isn't it? These temples
just
that are
turn
lining
around and looking away from the river, and the quality of the architecture. I mean, who built these extraordinary buildings? And yet it's something out of a film set, because they're sort of run down, but sort of full of life at the same time. But it'd be nice to see the light just catch the.
It feels like it's coming up onto these buildings.
Yeah. And there's a funny mix between the commercialism, bright banners, and there's a sort of fun fair over there with a Ferris wheel, which I think, well, is that really in keeping with the spiritual capital of India? Not really, but it's just some massive, intense mix of the old, the new, the spiritual, the commercial, the beautiful incense smells, the smell of the least desirable bits of the Ganges, the beautiful colours with these wonderful saris, and yet other people wearing jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can't all keep up the standards, can we, Neil?
No. I did think there was a slight irony when we arrived here yesterday and went just next to this lovely temple here. I don't know what that one's called, but within inches of it, we were sitting at India's oldest pizzeria.
Yes.
But I'm glad you mentioned the architecture. It gives me a chance to pass back to Studio Neil, who knows so much more than I, having had the benefit of many hours of a touch more research, to tell us about the architecture.
Right then. Well, the architecture along the Ghats in Varanasi, since you want to know about it, is unlike anything else. Well, anything else I've seen. Partly because it doesn't actually follow any single period or style. It is centuries and centuries of building on top of building. Palaces and temples and dharamsalas all crammed together along the riverbank in a way that probably shouldn't work, but it does. Some of it is very grand, some of it is crumbling. A lot of it is both at the same time. Whole buildings have partially subsided into the river over the years in places. The Ghats themselves, those long stone staircases descending to the water, give the whole thing some kind of foreground that holds everything together visually for the camera. From a boat on the river at dawn, looking back at the city, it does read as one of the great views in the world, in my humble opinion. Photographers have been making that picture for as long as cameras have existed.
गंगा स्नानम तिलकम गंगलो महादेवाय नमः शिवाय जय गंगा मैया सद्बुद्धि ज्ञान देते रहे माता पुल्ला जी आपका दरबार भरे रहे महादेवाय नमः शिवाय 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 शिवाय.
Toward the end of the show today, you'll hear what our adventurers felt about visiting and photographing in India, and you'll hear answers to the famous why question. But getting in early with some thoughts about this amazing country is Bill.
Well, Bill, where's Bill? As you've been known. Where's Bill? You do have a propensity for wandering off in all kinds of directions when your eyes see something. You think, oh, I think that's the picture. I'll go. Yep, and then before we know it, you've gone.
And sometimes I'm rewarded and sometimes I'm just lost.
Well, that's the gift you get from having a curious eye. I was going to say, well, Bill, it's the second year that I've travelled with you. It's been a lot of fun. Doesn't seem a year, though, does it?
Not at all. I mean, time flies, and the older you get, the faster it flies. So.
I seem to remember last time we were talking, we were at the end of a platform at Old Delhi Junction, and every time I tried to talk to you, there was a or a and it was a noisy old place. I thought I'd found a quiet end of platform. So anything could happen here. I found a quiet courtyard, but who knows?
Who knows? Which is probably the most rewarding part about India in general.
Well, who knows?
You never know what's going to happen next. And a lot of people really, are annoyed by the fact that you can't predict anything. You can't depend 100% on anything, because out of nowhere something totally surprising will happen.
Yeah.
But I like that, and I know you're of that mindset too.
You can sit somewhere, and back home I can sit somewhere and I can pretty much see what's going to pan out over the next 15 minutes to half an hour. But you could sit here and, well, I've heard a cow's going to come wandering out of that gate any second now, like a domestic dog.
Yep.
The temple, the bells will start ringing any moment. I know that.
Yeah.
A man has just appeared. He's taken his clothes off and he's doing his washing. Yeah. And you might say, listening to this, you're making that up.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I've got a few things I wonder if he could throw in there just before I travel home. Yeah. But yeah, that's the great thing. India's a spontaneous place. I've found, as I'm sure you have, 9 times out of 10, the spontaneous surprise is always delightful, particularly in hindsight.
Yeah.
While they're happening, it's a little challenging.
So how have you found India this year? This is your second year with us anyway, of coming.
Yeah.
Different place, Varanasi and Kolkata, and last year it was Delhi and Jodhpur, and Agra in between.
Yeah. Both wonderful, and both in particular had been on my list of places I wanted to see for two various reasons. One was I wrote a little story about Calcutta because I remember growing up in the 1960s. Calcutta was the poster child for global poverty and the shame of global poverty. And Mother Teresa's work was in the news at that point. There were Life magazine spreads showing devastation, open sewers running down the middle of crowded streets. I remember thinking, and also it was the emergence of electronic media. So television news was starting to happen, and you could see moving pictures of this poverty. And of course with the media, they have to blow it up, and they made it sound like just an absolutely horrible place. And I remember thinking as a kid, I would never want to go there. And the other day when we arrived, I said, well, here I am.
Yeah.
And of course I discovered a delightful place. A lot of poverty, no doubt, but there's a lot of poverty all around the world, and you can see it readily here in India. What they didn't show in the 1960s on television was just, the wonderful side of India. The people, the architecture is beautiful, and really there's a lot of excitement in a city like Kolkata that's on the rise.
It's the friendliness in particular that you highlight that I go home with each time after my visit.
Yeah.
That ability that India has just to put you in the middle of a street and you end up having a conversation you weren't otherwise planning to.
Yeah. And
even if you don't have the language.
Exactly, especially if you don't have the language. But the other thing that really strikes me in India is people are genuine. What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And as a photographer, that's really just wonderful. People don't mind if you take their picture, and when you are taking their picture, there's absolutely no pretense. They don't have to put on a fake smile, or they don't have to, fix their hair or anything. They just say, yeah, take my picture. That has the impact. I could see it in our group too, where things you might worry about in other places, about how am I dressed, or what do I look like? Who cares? I mean, and you can see people relax and really become themselves. Good morning.
Varanasi is known for many things. One of those is the burning ghats. And we've just been past one. A burning ghat, Shiv, being...
So right now we are at Harishchandra Ghat, which is the second burning ghat of Varanasi. So this is more for the local people from Varanasi or surrounding areas or surrounding villages. This is not for all across India. So local people, they get cremated here.
The one that's a little bit further up, anybody in India can be burned at that ghat.
That's the main burning ghat or cremation ghat in all India. It's very famous. It's actually religiously very important because a lot of people got cremated there. So, and also it's just right next to the Ganges, which is where you want to be when you die.
The body, and I can see one in the middle of, there's three burning, what would you call those? They're pyres, aren't they? Yeah.
Yes, they are wooden pyres.
Wooden pyres.
Yeah.
So the burning is only taking place in the middle one at the moment, and I can see the body. We can see, without being too descriptive about it, a skull, and you can see the rib cage as well.
Yeah.
What happens after this? Because I think it's important that some of this body or the ashes make their way into the river.
Yes, so you like all the ashes, they go in the river, but then the family takes some of it, like let's say a small jar of those ashes they will take, and they will take it home for people and to do the prayings and all that, and they will keep it for 13 days, and after 13 days when the sun opens his fast, because he's fasting for 13 days, no grains, nothing, just fruits and water, so then that goes into the local river or somewhere, so that's the remains they carry for 13 days.
I read that sometimes bones also go into the river as well, or have I read that incorrectly?
I think that's a different story, because here there won't be no remains. They will burn it until everything becomes ash.
Right.
So the story that you might be talking about, let's say if I have a skin disease, or if I got dead because of a snake bite or something like that, then we don't get cremated. Then your body will just come and they will just drop you in the river, like the full body.
Why? What's the difference between?
I think it's because the way you died. So those people, they don't get cremated. The kids in Hinduism, they don't get cremated. So you, like, let's say if a 3-year-old kid, 4-year-old kid died, then they will take the kid and bring them to the Ganges, tie their body through a stone, and then just drop it in the river.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so there might be so many bodies of kids in the river.
In the river?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did a photography project on that. So I photographed a family with that, but my conscience never allowed me to publish that project, because I thought I'm never ready to show that side, or maybe I just didn't make enough connection with the family.
I'm not quite sure if you can hear the fire that we can see, but it's 10 meters, 15 meters in front of us. It's one of the funeral pyres. This is not the main funeral ghat, but we've just watched the body brought down next to the Ganges. The family members looked at it for 5 minutes after they'd set their family member within the cremation pyre and then burned or started the fire, and then they walked back and didn't look back. How do you feel looking at this, Lynn?
It's quite an interesting question, actually, because having worked as an archaeologist, I've been quite used to digging up skeletons and cremated bone, but it's quite something to see the start of that process. I suppose I feel quite detached from it, because it's not somebody that I know, and having watched them all walk down in what was a reverent but matter-of-fact way, and the same when they've left the body burning.
I think that was the sadhu that officiated that's in front of us there. I'm trying to be as reverent as I can without looking like I'm staring at something which, well, frankly though, Lynn, looking around me, that we've got boats going up and down with people taking pictures. We've got non-family members that are actually videoing it. It's a very different experience.
It's part of the process of their lives. It's part of their culture, and it's just a very everyday event for them. I mean, it's not for us, because we're very detached from death in our Western culture.
You made a very good point as well, Mercedes, as you were watching them.
I am speechless. This is the contrast between how people deal with death here and how we see death in our Western culture is the contrast is just so strong. I was telling you before how incredible I think it is that the family was here. They stayed a couple minutes, and they didn't seem to be sad. Not that I'm judging how they're dealing with it, but one of the things I'm most fearful of death and my loved ones dying is the sadness that will come after that. and how you come back to your own life and just keep going with that, carrying that sadness. Just seeing how that was not a part of this process here is very comforting in a way, because there's not one way to deal with death. There's clearly a spectrum, and so in some way it's comforting seeing that it's not just sadness. It can be hopeful, and something that I've learned here is that the faith that the people in this country have is remarkable, and it's something that I wish I can take home. And being faith in whatever you want, just faith that this is not the end of something.
Many of our adventurers' favourite photographs come from one particular place that we visited of a morning. Varanasi has been a centre of learning for longer than most universities have existed. That's just fact, and counting. The students you see in the saffron robes, and sometimes I think they're more of a yellow robe, are studying at what's called gurukuls, traditional residential schools where the curriculum is the Vedas, the ancient Sanskrit texts that sit at the foundation of Hindu philosophy and practice. The Gurukul system is the old tradition, largely unchanged actually. Students live with their teacher, sometimes from a very young age, and spend years memorizing and reciting texts that are thousands of years old. We found the students sitting on a ghat first thing in the morning, finishing off their outdoor lessons before going back inside. And despite the fact that obviously there's all this history and tradition around their learning, what I think we found were boys that were, just being boys, to be honest, despite the robes and the ancient teachings.
We rose, I was going to say unfashionably early, but that's not true for this trip. We've risen each morning unfashionably early for every single day, but you have to get out.
Yeah.
Well, for various reasons, everything happens. The various festivals and ceremonies happen early, and actually the light and the heat. The light perfect, and you want to beat the heat. We're with some monks. This is a school.
Yes.
So, do you know much more about this school, this particular?
Yeah. So this is called Vedic school. Vedic means there are four main Veds, and then this school teaches them. If they can read and understand all four of them, it just gives them everything that they need to know about Hinduism.
Four faiths of Hinduism. We've been photographing the trainee monks for a little while now. I think they must be photographed out, Lynn. Look, three of them have fallen asleep there.
I know. I think they're getting a bit bored of being Exhibit A.
Yes, I think they must have to do this every day. So there's an air of resignation about this, isn't
and
there?
Ennui, I would say. But they're still. I mean, it's been quite interesting watching them as they've sat here for longer and longer, and they're all shuffling about. There's been little play fights going on in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember, because they're sat on 1, 2, 3, well, there's four, 5 levels of them. 4 levels. And it looks very much like those large school photos that we used to have. Does it bring back memories? It brings back one for me, that's for sure. Of we had to, in the days when you had a special machine that went left to right, and you all had to remain really, really still. And then 1 week after the school photo came out, the headmaster was fierce on the Friday, and he said, 2 boys went from the left to the right. In the time that camera panned across 1,000 pupils, they were in, I think they might have met Mr. Cane, which was, I think, the last year of the cane being used. It was kept ceremoniously above the mantelpiece in the headmaster's office.
I don't remember a camera like that, Neil. You must be a lot older than me.
No, they went left to right.
No, I don't remember that, but I do remember nobody smiled. It just wasn't cool to smile in your school photograph.
Fraser was talking about his one, and he said when they took the photograph, for one moment he looked to the left, and he's the only one out of the entire school that's just got some odd profile.
Yeah, I think I'm sitting looking very solemn. I think the further you got through the school, the more solemn you looked. Bored. Training, yes.
That's what it was.
That inscrutable face.
This has been interesting. Do they come out, is it my imagination, but did they come out in different coloured robes later on in the day? Were they in red?
Well, I think we were promised red in the morning, weren't we?
Were we?
Yes, and then they changed into yellow later on in the day, but they're in yellow, so they obviously haven't changed since we saw them last night.
Maybe the laundry has not been done.
No.
200, 300 yellow robes. Oh, Bill's found some friends at the back. I think showing them photographs of themselves has been done 1,000 times before.
Yeah, they don't really look that interested, do they?
No thanks, Bill. I've seen that one. Keep your photo.
By now on the show, even if you've been listening for only a short time, you'll know that on most shows, the final question asked of a guest is the why question, as we're more about the why of photography than the how. And you're about to hear that of Lloyd, Fraser and Peters, the why that is, before we head off to the brickfields, where I asked Anne and Nicola, with Bill and Mercedes still to come. Why you photograph, or why you do this creative thing, sounds straightforward until you actually try to answer it. Some photographers find that harder than expected, yet there are others that know immediately.
The question that I ask at the end of all my shows to my guests, and I'm fascinated to engage with those that have been with both myself and Lynn and Shiv and his wonderful team, Arvind and Mohit and Shub back at base. Don't forget Shub. What's your why? What is your why? This can be a creative one, this can be a photographic one, it could be a life one, spiritual one. Oh my word, this could be another episode.
I think I need you to refine the question. Well, I mean, what does that even mean?
What, your why?
Yeah.
Look, don't get awkward. Even Joel Meyerowitz answered this one. I suppose, why do you do this? What drives you? Because really, it's just a box that you point at the world. And no, thank you. No boat ride, thank you.
If you might need it for a sunset, I will take you a lovely boat ride when the cremation going on, the ceremony going on. You can see the sunset ride.
Thank you. We've seen all of this, but
really?
Thank you. Your English is very good.
Thank you, sir. You're most welcome. We can see each other whenever you need in Varanasi.
I'll keep my eye out for you.
You can contact me, Boating with Justin. My name.
Boating with Justin.
On Instagram. You can
Instagram, Boating with Justin.
Yeah, my name is Justin, Boating with Justin. Easy to find me.
Great advert. Thank you, Justin. Remember that, Boating with Justin, if you come to Varanasi. Goodness, that was right in the middle of us starting to get deep. Do you know, another friend of mine said, I don't do weird, I've been to India before, everything's weird. Wonderfully weird, that is.
I think your question was, the why was a bit about photography, wasn't it?
Yeah, the why was, you know,
why did we carry this box around?
Why? Yeah, because this box has brought you to India.
Right.
With us. Yeah. You wouldn't have come otherwise. You might have gone on some sort of tour. Of course you might have done, but we've all got this shared experience of wanting to look through our cameras and think, look at that, I need to share this.
Oh, well, I think that's right. Photography for me, there are two things. The first one is, can you see the beauty? Can you see the extraordinary? So can you see the artistic framing of something that's going on, whether it's shadow or colour or form or layers or all these things that I've been learning about from you and the other people on this trip, and Shiv in particular. So can you see it, first of all, and then have you got the skill set to capture it? And there is a skill set to capturing it, you know, as any photographer knows, there's many different aspects to taking a picture, from the focal length to which f-stop you use, to the shutter speed and the ISO, etc. But can you, the most important thing, and this is why I had to come on this trip with, it doesn't matter what camera it is it puts you in that frame of mind. It gives you that lens of the world where you are looking for the beauty. And if you spend days on end in an extraordinary place looking for beauty, you will see it everywhere. And it's a completely different mindset to how we spend most of our lives. And I think it's very, very good for you because, you know, if you take a starting attitude of there is beauty and extraordinary things everywhere, and anyone you meet is extraordinary, and that comes back to the stories that they will tell you. But purely in terms of photography, if you're wandering around with that lens of how can I see beauty and then can I capture it, it's enormously enriching to your life. And what could be better than coming to two cities like Kolkata and Varanasi, because they're about as rich in terms of aspects of beauty everywhere as anywhere you can go in the world.
Fraser, I'm asking everybody the same questions, two questions. One is, it's a sort of mixture of why did you come to India along with what do you feel about India? So it's very much a feely question. And then we'll have a why, since that's our theme on this show. We'll start with touchy-feely about India.
I've never been, and I was keen to come. I think I probably found the idea of India quite intimidating. Its size, the number of people, the noises, the smells, all of that. I think I'd probably be more comfortable in slightly kind of smaller groups and isolated environments. So India, I think, was always intimidating for me, but this was an opportunity to see it with purpose, through a lens, with intent, to come with people who know the place, and it's been a revelation. It's stunningly beautiful. The people are beautiful, the colours, everything about it. It's a lot. It's fairly chaotic, but it's been a lovely surprise in many ways.
I've been observing how people shoot. You're a very quiet shooter. I just see you out the periphery, and I think, oh, okay. There's a quiet. I'm not going to say you're the quiet assassin, which I've suggested for Peter in our group. But no, there's definitely a very sincere, observational quietness about your approach. Even in moments like very early this morning, where we were watching a ceremony and there was a melee of people.
Yes, I think it takes a while for me to tune in and to find something of interest, and then gradually just narrow down the focus until you've got it exactly how you want it. So from a kind of long way out, seeing something that might be of interest, exploring, getting closer and closer to the point where you're on your toes, making micro movements just to try and frame the elements in the scene properly. It's that funneling, I think, of the experience down into the moment where you feel you've got the right picture.
Has your approach here differed to the way you would usually photograph?
I think it's harder here because there's so much to photograph and there's a lot going on to try and find that initial identification of subject. So you really have to kind of concentrate quite hard on that and let it come. I think it's one of these things you can't force. We're all a bit sluggish kicking off in the morning, but I think, you know, it comes, you just become more attuned to picking up things that you want to investigate.
What have you found the most challenging part of photographing here?
There's so much, to be honest. I'm shooting with quite a wide lens, and
you're 28, is that
28,
right?
28, yeah.
28.
And it's they look great when they're right, but they're difficult to get right because there's so much to see, and you constantly have to be using your eye to look around the edges to make sure you've got a complete shot in picture without anything as distraction. The difficulty here, I guess, like so much photography, is finding yourself able to leave stuff out. It's the stuff you leave out that makes the picture. It's difficult to leave out stuff here because there's so much happening.
You're a manual shooter.
Yes.
Like which one?
This is an M10P.
M10P. You're an M6 shooter as well, aren't you, I think?
Yeah, I've completely swallowed the pill. Yeah.
So it means that you are having to do everything in a manual way. Has that been an advantage?
I shoot with zone focusing for just trying to cap snaps of things that pass me by, but if I do have more time to compose, it means I can dial in the focus with more precision, and I'll always have time to do that because I'll always be looking for the moment to align, the subject matter to align, and that gives me a bit of time to play around and be a bit more specific. And I can often just throw open the aperture at that stage as well, so they can shoot wide open once I've got that time, once I've got it locked in.
Well, talking of alignment, has this aligned with this experience? Has this aligned with what you thought you'd find in India? Because you did a fair bit of research before you came. You read a few books.
Yeah, I was keen to understand the history of India, and particularly, coming from Britain originally, our influence there and the history of it and how we might be received, I guess, in many respects there. But it's such a long and detailed and fascinating history of the place. It really is ancient, and the ancient roots, I think, are very visible every day. They're not buried away, they're not demolished in the way that so many countries are.
I'm not so sure what to feel about the buildings, that the colonial remnants, well, not always remnants, but some of the buildings are fading, some of them are crumbling.
Yes.
And there's part of me that said, wouldn't it be nice if we did that up? And then I kind of stopped myself mid-sentence. But there is also a pride here with regard to buildings, and also sometimes a connection to names that have changed over the last decade or so. Mumbai, for example, great example. At the airport, the chap who was walking around, and he wasn't particularly old, he was in his 40s, was calling for the Bombay flight, not the Mumbai flight, which I was surprised by.
Yes, and I've seen various buildings of Calcutta and Kolkata, and here as well, Banaras still features in many of the signs when it's now Varanasi. So it has the feel of a country that layers its history but doesn't demolish what's underneath. The layers are still there and apparent, and you see that with the different faiths represented and the cultures, that this is a centuries-old country that in a way cherishes the many layers which have made it up over those years.
Okay, the tricky one. Your why?
My why? Well, why take photograph? I think creativity is a muscle we all have. I think it atrophies with many of us, and I think, like any muscle, you need to use it. And I've got more time in my hands now, and I'm enjoying using photography as a means of creative expression, not with an end result in any mind, not with a view to anybody, frankly, ever seeing photographs of the matter, but actually just the process, the satisfaction I get from that, I think is enormously rewarding, and I think it is universal. I don't think I'm at all unique in that regard.
Peter, I said it last year, I'll say it again. You are the quiet assassin with a camera. You are somebody who you move around something slowly. You take a while to observe, and then you nail it.
Yes, I tend to see the image in my head. I know before I move in what I want.
You do?
So I just wander around, find the gaps, find the spaces, because obviously it's very crowded here. And then maybe take two or three shots, and then I'm probably done with that subject, and I'll move, maybe try a different viewpoint, but I'll move on to something else.
Well, it was fantastic to journey with you last year when we went to Jodhpur and Delhi. How has this differed for you in terms of your confidence, the way that you feel happy to walk around and just do as you do?
Yes, I'm really relaxed. As I think I explained last year, I hadn't travelled at all really for quite a long time. So I was apprehensive, but this year I'm more confident in myself. I'm more confident in the people that surround me, because, quite frankly, the people in India are just so nice and so friendly.
Yeah, I know.
You can't be anything but relaxed.
The pictures that you've made this year, have they differed at all in terms of more portraits?
Absolutely. Last year, most of my photographs, I think, were maybe close-ups, little pools of light, items that most people would maybe not bother to photograph, if you will. This year, I have many more portraits, but I think there's more characters here to photograph.
Yes, particularly in Varanasi.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So, what is it about India that you've learned? And now you have the benefit of 2 years of learning.
Excellent question. The pace of life is both frenetic and calm at the same time. And the way people interact. Sometimes it's 100 miles an hour. Other times it's just so chilled you can sit down and just watch the world go by.
Have you learned anything more about yourself, actually, coming to India?
I don't think I've ever stopped learning about myself. The main thing is, I think, as we just said, it's the confidence building.
Yes.
I feel happier in myself not to be worried about things, not to be afraid of trying new things. Even at my age, which is 71, I still find that I've something to offer.
Oh God, yeah.
Not maybe to other people, if not to other people, but to myself. And that's important.
Come on then, the difficult one. I did announce this right at the start of the week that I would be asking you all for a why. Have you had a chance to think about it?
It's the same as it's always been. Didn't need to think. The first day I saw an image appear in a developing tray, that was my life was changed. From there to college, doing photography. And from there, ever since, for 50 plus years, I've had a camera. And photography is realistically my main and only interest. I have other interests, but this way surpasses everything else.
Was he hitting the roof of our tuk-tuk, Lloyd? Can we go to Hyde Park Corner and don't cross the river, please? We're off. It's a tuk-tuk ride. No self-respecting edition of the Indian special would seem right without a tuk-tuk ride, would it? Oh. So before you hear me or Lloyd and I talk about our tuk-tuk experience as we get thrown about in the back here, here's some history about the tuk-tuk.
The tuk-tuk, or auto rickshaw if you want to be formal about it, is a three-wheeled vehicle powered by, well, a luck and a prayer as much as anything mechanical. They arrived in India in the 1950s. What started as a relatively sensible idea for moving people around the city has evolved, in Varanasi specifically, into something approaching performance art. I mean, the streets in the old city are genuinely not wide enough for them in places, a problem that doesn't appear to have discouraged anyone. Lanes are a suggestion, horns are a language, personal space is a concept that simply hasn't made it. Getting from one end of the city to the other in a tuk-tuk is less a journey and more a negotiation with fate, with your knees somewhere near your ears. We decided actually to take not a local jaunt, but a 45 minutes one out to the brickfields.
You've been to brickfields, but not in India. How do they differ? So a brickfield is where, as it says on the tin, bricks are put in a kiln, or they're shaped, put in a kiln, and it's quite manual work that you've seen in the past anyway in Bangladesh.
Yeah, we haven't walked around everything yet, but it does look like there are some similarities. So all the bricks, I think, are handmade in moulds and then stacked in an open area to dry off initially, and then they're carted from there into the very large kiln to be fired. So we've got a kiln in front of us, but it's more mechanised than I've seen before. They're taking the bricks in using small tractors with cages on the back, whereas in Bangladesh that was all done by people carrying bricks on their heads.
So you need a lot of people, a queue of people to take them in.
Yeah, there were a lot of people, and they were working at speed. I was amazed at how fast they could move with 25 kilos of bricks on their head. And then, you know, they'd deposit their load and they would run back to the actual field to pick up their next load.
Did that work in the same way as what we saw when the sand was being unloaded from the barges, that they would get a token for each run they made?
Yeah, they got a token for each load.
2 cents, 3 cents?
Pretty much. I think they were maybe less well paid.
What?
But that was last year. I didn't ask Akash if they were getting any more, but he told me last year it was maybe $3 or $4 a day that they were earning for
Oof.
carrying these bricks. Oh my goodness, I've just turned around and there's some more chimneys have got going, and there are 2 large plumes of black smoke drifting across the sky.
Yeah. Anne has a question.
What's a question?
The question you just asked.
Which one?
The highway, freeway thing.
Oh.
Go and ask it, because you thought you weren't being recorded. And you weren't at the time, and I wish I was.
No, I said, who are the crazies who would opt to ride a 45-minute tuk-tuk, on the freeway to get to brick fields at 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
Shivam.
Yeah, only Shivam and Arvind.
And
the best experience
and
of
partly
India.
me, I'm afraid,
Yes, yeah.
because I wanted you.
nutcases.
Yeah, I wanted you to see. Well, these guys are doing it from 8 in the morning. Well, probably earlier than that, right in the middle of the day. The brick fields are quite interesting in terms of, very interesting, I think, in terms of understanding how life works in this country. You do a lot of
physically demanding.
Well, you do a lot.
Women carrying.
Yeah. And have you not seen this kind of scenario before on your photographic tours?
I mean, not in my photographic tours, no. I was just going to say I've seen it in my travels, but to intentionally photograph it is a different experience. Because you're more observant, you're kind of taking it in, taking the experience in more.
Yeah.
Versus just passing by or
seeing it from the highway.
Correct.
In an air-conditioned car. So come on. What? Tell me about India. What you found. What it's done for you. How you photographed it. How you felt.
It's an explosion of the senses. It's a visual overload. That's for sure. I think it's going to take me a while to process this. To be honest.
What parts?
All of it. Just, I remember thinking to myself, if I get to India, I'll probably get there, just experience it once, visit the place once, go make sure to go to the Taj Mahal, I wanted to join a photography workshop, and experience it that way. And, I thought to myself, it will be a one and done type of destination.
And it's not.
Honest.
And it's not?
No, it's not. Yeah, it's been interesting, visually, spiritually. There's lots of things to process. I'm sure I'm not articulating it well.
No, I think you are. I think what you're articulating is the utter confusion that you have when you first come here and think, what am I going to photograph when there's so much?
Yeah, and I guess I quickly realized that, I had the mindset of a tourist when I said that. Like, let me just check off the box, visit, what I need to see, experience it once and probably never come back.
You've traveled to 64 countries though.
Yes.
So that in my mind makes you somebody who's reasonably adept at processing visual information.
This is quite different though.
Is it?
I think it's a very demanding type of trip. I couldn't even describe it, like the excitement and the discomfort all bundled in one. Yeah, it's a very different trip from a very different destination from other destinations in Asia, I think. I have not been to Bangladesh, so I'm sure that may be a whole other level.
Stand by for what was described to me as Delhi on steroids.
Yeah.
But that there is the brick fields. There are the smelting yards. There are the shipyards. On the very first day, I was, how do I even record this? I think I had probably a visual warm-up. Definitely.
I think you did, yes.
But you did to an extent, because you went to Delhi first.
I did, yeah. But, I think every place I've been, Delhi, Jaipur, Agra, and then, of course, Kolkata, and here, Varanasi, with you guys. Yeah. It's been very unique per destination, I think. But I think India, it's unique in the sense that, and any travel, you know, and I also I think this is why I gravitate towards photography too, because it's like art teaches you something that science can't. So I'm in the world of, you know, medicine and healthcare, and it's a different world. And you and the stuff you learn from there is completely different from, you know, photography.
Yeah. So, you know, I ask a question which just has 3 letters in it. Why? You might apply that why in many different ways. Travel, perhaps, or photography. What's your why?
I guess it would be like my creative reprieve from anesthesia. And that whole world. Yeah. I mean, anesthesia is completely opposite from
I should just explain that anesthesia is the business that Anne works in.
Yes.
Not the anesthesia of listening to my voice.
Yeah, no, I don't have that talent, Neil. I need the drugs to put people down.
To put people to sleep. I don't like when we've had this conversation. I'm not quite comfortable with to put people down, which I know is the phrase you use in your industry. Anyway, back to your why.
No,
your visual reprieve.
You know, I almost have to switch my brain when doing street photography from working in the anesthesia world. Yeah. And what I mean by that is, you know, anesthesia demands you to be structured, rigid. You know, your type A personality has to be on point. And then you get to street, and it's like the beauty is in the mistakes and then the surprises. And so
your life is switched.
I actually have had to unlearn a lot of how I guess am on a daily basis when I turn to photography, which has been liberating, and that's what I mean by I think it's a creative reprieve in that sense.
Photographing from afar the scene of the brickfields here is Nicola. What are you focusing on?
Just the people as they come down. So I've got the part of the actual brick fields, but I also wanted just the people with the bricks on their heads, and
I've noticed how over there a lot more women doing the brick carrying than the men. Men handing out the tokens. So every time you do a run with a brick, you get a token, which is how you get paid at the end of the day. Women doing the carrying, men giving the tokens. Social comment.
We're not going to say anything because it could be quite contentious.
Well, you've been to India before. You've travelled here a few years ago.
Just a few.
Just a few.
Yeah.
What's India done for you this time?
I've seen different things, very different. So the very first time I came, it was a completely different experience. Not just because it was a long time ago, so things were very different. I went down to Agra. And,
Taj Mahal?
Yeah, the Taj Mahal. And I mean, last year when we came, I was absolutely just taken aback because there was a 3-lane highway. It had been a dirt road practically when I went down it the last time, and when you get to the Taj, there's car parks and concession stalls to get in.
There wasn't when you came first time.
Nothing. We parked outside the front entrance and walked in. So it was very different. So yeah, huge difference. Things like that. Yeah.
Have you enjoyed it this time?
Yes, absolutely. It's because it's different from last year because we're in different places again. I mean, I know it's still India, but you know, you see different things, and definitely another experience, another learning, understanding trip.
We were talking about how India is not for everyone, that some people will say, I don't know, it's a bit dirty, it's a bit messy, it's a bit this, it's a bit that, it's too this, it's too that. In India, I think you have to open your mind to the fact that it's a different way of living.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, it's not dirty in the sense of being the people are dirty because they're incredibly clean.
Well, beautifully dressed, beautifully presented.
Yes, but I mean the way they wash. The washing is part of their, religion. I mean I find that fascinating. That they.
No, I was talking about more about the country. I was talking about the fact that some people, we're walking, let's walk and talk. More about how maybe the streets aren't as clean as you would expect in some parts of the world.
No, I mean that's different. But then I think the culture is different. So things like that are different. But then you get the people who are sweeping up all the time. I guess they have different priorities in life. I mean, a lot of them are.
This is uneven ground. Do you know, it's unfair me asking you. You should know that Nicola this year has been an absolute trooper because I know you're waiting for a hip operation so that you can take part in the Olympics.
Yeah. That's never going to happen.
I don't know. I'll be first in the queue to watch. So look, I tell you what, the next question I want to ask you, I'm going to wait for a second because I don't want you falling over here. And it's uneven ground at the brickfields.
If I had a video of it, it would be worth me falling over.
No, never. Never. All right then. We come out the other side of the awkward ground. What's your why? What's your why? You knew I was going to ask you this question.
And every time you ask me, it's slightly different, really, because it depends on my mood and what it comes into my head, really. Because a why is a bit transient, I think. So my why is fascination.
Oh, that's a good one.
Spreading the images for people to see a different culture when we're here, which is different to when I'm photographing business-wise, and memories, and sharing with my family when I get home, because none of them come.
Well, as the clock counts down toward the end of our adventures in India, in hours rather than days, we return to the Ghats to take our final photo walks alongside the river, thinking about what we'd seen, what we'd experienced, who we'd met. Now, one of the common themes in our conversations over the last 24 hours was, well, this is going to take time to process. I do have some thoughts, though, I'd like to share shortly before our play-out song today, which of course has an Indian flavour. You'd expect nothing less. The final word comes from one of our real thinkers on the workshop, Lloyd. But before that, Bill and then Mercedes are considering their whys.
I wonder, Bill, if I were to rewind the tape and listen to last year when I asked you this very same question, whether it might have changed. Your photographic why, that is.
My photographic why, or my why in general, has not changed. That's because I truly believe, and this isn't just a clever answer, but my why is to discover my why.
It's an ongoing process.
Yeah. I think a lot of people that have it figured out are probably fooling themselves. If you think you have your why figured out, in a way you stop living. And I think the true challenge in life is to get out, experience things, and never lose your curiosity. So in that regard, my why is to discover, well, why are we here? Or why was I sent to Varanasi on this day? There's got to be a reason. And I think in this case, I discovered the reason was to be with a group of wonderful people, make new friends, and just take some outstanding pictures.
So my history with India is that my grandmother lived here for 4 years when I was born. And growing up, after she moved back to Mexico City, growing up, she would tell me stories about her time living in India. She had such a privileged life here now, I understand, because she was married to an ambassador. And this ambassador was the first one. He was the ambassador from Belgium in India, and he was the first one to live in Delhi. So my grandmother was tasked with the job of decorating their house, the embassy and the ambassador's house. And so I grew up hearing her tell stories about her time in India. And for me, I grew up thinking India was this magical place because of what she told me. And I remember clearly her saying, people from India have the key to happiness. And if people lived more like them, we as a whole would be much happier and a better place. The world would be a better place. And I remember India was so mystical in my mind because of her tales. And I've always wanted to come to India, of course. And here I am, 37 years later, I made it.
We're in India.
And what a better way to meet people and to see a country than through a lens.
Well said. I think that's it. That's the quote of the show. I always ask a question. You've heard the show, I know. So at the end of my conversations with people, which is why? Why do you do this? It's such an open question, I know. Maybe what is your why? What is your driving force creatively?
I'll tell you why I do photography, because I feel like photography is a way to know me. Every time I take a picture that I like, because I shoot a lot. My style is just shooting a lot and then going.
You are a collector of life.
I am a collector. Oh, I love that, Neil. I'm a collector.
You can have that for the website free.
Thank you. Collector of life. I love that. But when I get one shot that I love, I feel like that shot has a piece of me. And so I'm able to, every time I see a photo that I took, I get to know myself a little better. Because I feel like in every shot, there's a piece of me. Because no two people will take the same shot. They can be standing next to each other and they'll see different things and they'll find different moments. And I feel like that's a good way to know myself. Because sometimes I catch things in the pictures that reflect who I am and my personality and what I'm working on in my life.
You, of course, have your husband coming here, as we've said, and then you've got your lovely children at home and your life in Miami. But what will you miss about India when you leave?
The color. The color is something I've never experienced before. It's everywhere. It's in their clothes, in the walls, in everywhere. Everywhere has a different color and such a special color. So I'll miss that most.
Do you know, it was interesting when you were coming out here and you said, Neil, I've missed Holly and I should have been there. And isn't it interesting that we end with you on a note of saying, but I found the colour anyway.
There's beauty everywhere and there's colour everywhere. And I don't know, maybe that's the biggest lesson of all, is that nothing has to be perfect to be beautiful.
I think today I want to leave the final word to Lloyd, who returns on the Extra Mile show to share some real insights into what this country has shared with him. He'll sum up our time in India with his usual witty, thought-provoking way of seeing things in a moment. So yes, the last word with Lloyd. But before that, a few thoughts from me. Steady yourself. There were quotes I jotted down on the Ghats, things said in passing between frames over chai that have stayed with me, and said that art, photography, teaches you something that science can't. It's not just a comment about photography or even about the life she navigates back home. It's a reminder that some understanding really only arrives in sideways fashion, through feeling rather than reasoning, and a country like India delivers that kind of understanding whether you're ready for it or not. Mercedes observed through the eyes of her grandmother that people here seem to have found something close to the key to happiness. And I think I saw evidence of that, even where life was hard, perhaps especially where life was hard. It isn't neat. It doesn't come wrapped in the way we might expect it to, certainly not from a brochure. But as was also said, the beauty is often in the mistakes and surprises, the things you simply weren't expecting. India has those in abundance. See, for me, travel is about keeping curiosity alive, stopping it from going stale, staying open, continuing to learn from the world, rather than assuming you've figured all this stuff out. India has a way of making that very easy and occasionally, well, more than occasionally, humbling. If you've liked what you've heard in terms of being with like-minded people, making pictures and learning about life through a lens, and you'd like to join us on our next adventures, we have a retreat in Scotland in June shortly. The Lochs await, along with the most exquisite printing of your work in a photogravure studio. There's Mongolia in September. Wide open spaces, small communities, lives being lived in ways very different from our own. And Venice in November, by day and by night. Details for all those are on the website. It would be genuinely wonderful to travel with you. And if, well, travel isn't right for you now, that's fine too. I mean, there's plenty to explore through the lens of wherever you are. The curiosity is the thing, not necessarily the passport stamp. But I do hope you've enjoyed this India special. I hope the sounds and the stories have put you somewhere close to walking alongside us. But come on, Lloyd, inspire us now with one of your thoughtful pieces of prose, such that you will be sharing on the extra mile today. The last word is with you. No pressure.
Well, since you're having the last word on this show, it always ends with a PS. A quote. Now, it doesn't have to be a photographic one, but I wonder if you're able to dip into your archive and think of a quote that perhaps would be suitable for the end of this show.
No.
गंगा स्नानम तिलकम जंगलों महादेवाय नमः शिवाय जय गंगा मैया सद्बुद्धि ज्ञान देते रहे माता पुल्ला जी आपका दरबार भरे रहे महादेवाय नमः शिवाय 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 शिवाय
The Photowalk is a Loading Zone production.